O Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate. Welcome to this new series on Mantra Yoga. We will have 6 or more classes on this important aspect of spiritual life. Every religion has emphasized the repetition of God's name. Every spiritual practice emphasizes repetition of a prayer or a mantra. There are those with very high cognitive abilities that don't need this kind of repetition of the God's name as a mantra, but those are few and far in between. 99%, or I would say 99.5% of the people do need a mantra where they can repeat, and this repetition of the mantra helps concentration, helps develop knowledge and devotion, helps purification of the mind. This has been for thousands and thousands and thousands of years an essential aspect of spiritual life, an essential component. You just can't progress in spiritual life without a repetition of a prayer or a mantra. The mantra itself is a condensed prayer. Please remember, it is a mystic syllable. And through this, as Holy Mother says, one can attain perfection. Japat Siddhi. Perfection is attained through repetition of God's name. There are various mantras and there are various spiritual disciplines. There are various deities associated with these mantras, various traditions, various practices. We will extract the best out of all these traditions and present to you the finer points of japa, repetition of the name. Now, this mantra, I'm using the Sanskrit pronunciation instead of mantra. Mantra. It is an English word, of course, now. Mantra. We have in this world, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you touch, think, everything in this world, in this universe rather, has got 2 major dimensions. It's called name and form. Even thought has a name and form. Everything in this universe, gross, subtle, causal, everything is made of just 2 things, name and form. Try to think of a name or a sound or a word without a form. It's impossible. Try to think of a form without a sound symbol, without name, without a word. It's impossible. However abstract you might think that you are in that abstract thought where you don't need any forms, even that abstract thought has a form. So, these things are associated with us everywhere. Now, when you talk about name and form, nama, rupa, Swami Vivekananda gives the example, like when you see a wave, what comes to your mind? It's a wave. The wave is nothing but a name and form. Yeah, this is understood. Now, this duality, this world is full of this duality of name and form. try to think of anything without name and form, the mind simply refuses. The mind is incapable of thinking of anything without name and form. The structure of the mind is like this. The structure of the universe is like this. From another higher standpoint, we will say that name and form actually is one entity. It's appearing as two. So it's like this, name and form. It's the same thing, seen different. So one thing is appearing as two, both to join together. Now, if this is clear, then we can proceed in understanding the three aspects of the mantra. Because until and unless we don't understand this, that doesn't get drilled into our minds that everything in this universe is name and form, then repetition of the mantra comes with more understanding, and that understanding generates more power. Now, we can see that everything is a complement of name and form. So the body is a form. Okay. The body is a form. As you can see, the mind is the name. If you can get this, remember, the body is a form, the mind is a name. The mind is the inner core or a kernel of this form. Okay. And now, if you say, okay, now this name called mind, that in turn becomes a form. The mind itself now is taken as a form. So what is the name of the mind? That is called the buddhi, the intelligence. That is the word, that is the sound. That is nama and rupa. The mind has become the, you can say, form, and buddhi or intelligence has become the word, the name. So now we say, okay, so if we take intelligence itself as a form, then what do we do? So we will find that, like the child meditating, we find that as a child is meditating, the intelligence is now, if it is taken as the form, as the body, so what is the name then? The inner core, it is called consciousness. Now you get this, the body is there, okay, that is the form, the mind antakaran is the name, the antakaran is the form, the buddhi or intelligence or knowledge is the name. Now intelligence itself is a form and consciousness is the name. So here you are getting an idea of this. Because when we repeat the mantra, what we are doing is trying to awaken it. What do you mean awakening it? Well, every mantra, whatever the mantra, it has a form. Now, what is that form? But this is well, the deity it represents is the form. The sound of the mantra is the name. Now, if sound is taken as the name, so what is the inner core, the inner kernel? That is what is called the meaning, the knowledge. So the japa the mantra has to be done with meaning. And then you say, okay, so meaning or knowledge is, if in turn can be called a form, then what is the name, the inner kernel of that aspect? It is called consciousness again. We will get this right again. The mantra, every mantra has a form, the deity you meditate on. The inner essence of that, called a name, nama, is the sound. If sound is taken as a form, then the meaning is the name. If meaning or knowledge is considered a form, then consciousness is the very essence, the name. So here you find in the microcosm we showed consciousness as the last, you can say, point where we can end. In the mantra also we ended up with consciousness. This is called the mantra chaitanya. Now when you look out in this world, this body is there like a form and the mind is a name. This whole universe is now a form and the cosmic mind is the name. You'll get this right. The whole cosmos of billions and billions and billions of galaxies with billions and billions and billions of stars, it's a form, rupa. And the name, nama, is the cosmic mind. This is an astounding leap, philosophical leap in the science of, you can say, mantra yoga. Everything in this universe is a form. The cosmic mind is the name. The cosmos is a form, cosmic mind is a name. So if you say, what is the cosmic mind? What is the cosmic mind then? If it can be taken as a form, yes, it can be taken as a form. Then cosmic knowledge is the name now. So the cosmic mind is a form. The cosmic, you can say, intelligence is the name. It is called Hiranyagarbha. And suppose you say, what is the essence of cosmic knowledge or cosmic intelligence? Then we say it is consciousness. So here also we come down to what is called consciousness. Internally, externally, as well as the mantra. So the mantra that we repeat is a link between this and that and this. All three are one. They end up with consciousness. So this has to be remembered. Now, what is the symbol of that cosmic, you can say, mind or the form or the name? The cosmic form and the cosmic name has a symbol. It is called Om. 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 This sound is called anahata. It is heard by the yogis in the deepest meditation. You can hear that sound. This is the sound of the universe. If that's the sound of the universe, that's your own sound also. And that is the sound of the mantra also. So that's why essentially all mantras will begin with Om. So if you say, why Om? Apart from it being heard by the yogis called anahata. Take for instance, we have the word sky. the sky is perceived as an object, but the word sky may mean different in different languages, in the sense of you have different words to describe the same thing. You may have sky, you may have akash, etc., whatever. Now we will find that if you abstract all the words describing sky, you can arrive at one basic generalized form of the word. So similarly, all these words about God and reality and truth and existence, etc., all these words which denote the same thing, if abstracted from everything, we get an essence called Om. Om, because that is the generalized sound of all the abstractions. So even in the Kathopanishad he said, Etadeva alambanam sreshta etadeva alambanam. This is the greatest support or medium. This is the highest support. So this is it. Om iti eva aksharam brahma. This letter Om is a symbol of Brahman. The inferior Brahman, that which is perceived, and the superior Brahman, which is not perceived. So Om is the totality of all existences. Cosmic, acosmic here, as well as in the mantra. That's why Om is essential to our, you can say, repetition of the mantra. This means Om. So simply just say Om. What is Om? Oh no, it means this. Now, when we have different names for one thing, we also have in this world different objects. Now that one absolute existence or truth becomes diversified into various things, like a spectrum. A ray of white light gets inside, and then when it emerges out, it breaks up into various component colors, the various colors of the rainbow. We see this spectrum. So that one Om, when it is condensing, as it were, becoming gross, it bifurcates into various aspects. That becomes the seed word, the bija mantra, in which follows Om and which is a part of the mantra. So you have the Om, and that same Om which has become diversified into various aspects of the mantra, aspects of the Godhead. So that becomes the bija mantra. So that is a condensation of a particular aspect of that Godhead Om. And now it becomes even a little more condensed. Then what? Then it becomes a form of the deity. So the mantra, if you see this, there is 3 states of matter, 3 states of water here. You have the air, the water vapor, that's a subtle. You have the water, that is between the subtle and the gross, and then you have something called the ice. So the condensed form of the mantra is the deity. It might be a Ramakrishna or a Vivekananda, or Holy Mother, Buddha or Christ or Krishna or Rama or Kali. It may be anything depending on the mantra. As we keep on meditating on that form and repeating the name, that same ice is nothing but water. So that is the bija mantra. That has the power. It grows. And as you keep on repeating that, that same ice, which is water, is the same thing as a water vapor. So these are the three aspects of a mantra, which have to be articulated correctly to get the maximum, you can say, benefit. Okay. So these three aspects of the mantra are in all mantras. For today's practice session, we will use Om Namo Bhagavate. Om, salutations to Bhagavan, the Lord. Bhagavan is an English word now. So remember, Om is like that water vapor. Okay. Nama is that water, and Bhagavate is the ice. The three aspects are of the one thing. There is unity in diversity. It's a name and form. Name and form. Just remember, name and form. So we'll start a simple. Just please sit down straight. Keep your shoulders squared. Keep your chin up so that your neck becomes straight. Keep your eyes half closed, please. Now just repeat along with me. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. Okay. If you have got this, then we can proceed to the next step. Remember that Om is the Nama and is the Bhagavate. The Bhagavate is the form, the Nama is the name, the Nama is the form, Om is the name. And if you say Om, Om is the form and intelligence is the name. And intelligence, if it is the form, then consciousness is the name. So it's a traveling back. It's a traveling back in your inner microcosm that will take you away from the macrocosm also. That's a mantra. That's a mystic syllable. It's extremely important. It contains eternal wisdom, eternal knowledge in a mystic form. Repetition, constant repetition will awaken that mantra. It's called Mantra Chaitanya. Okay. So we will repeat it again 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. Think of its meaning as you repeat it. Now the word Bhagavate is the Lord. Now you can close your eyes and you can visualize any form of the Lord, any form that you like. Close your eyes, please, and repeat 3 times Om Namo Bhagavate. But right now you visualize that form of the deity you like. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. So this form has these 3 names. Om, Namo and Bhagavate represent that form. Think of its meaning and think of its higher meaning, the knowledge. Okay. Now we have been articulating this Om Namo Bhagavate. Now close your eyes once again, please. Visualize the deity you like and you admire, and now repeat it mentally, but you will be able to hear it internally only. Yeah, open your eyes, please. Now here, like Om Namo Bhagavate, this sound is distinct, clear. You must be able to hear this sound inside as you do japa. We don't need to rush with repetition. The most important thing is it has to be articulated distinctly, clearly, and you must be able to hear it yourself. It is then that mantra repetition becomes effective. At the same time, we must be able to visualize that form, so the whole mind is engaged. Nama and Rupa, Nama and Rupa, Nama and Rupa, name and form, name and form, name and form. So this is how we start doing japa. So we stop here for today and wait for the questions to come in. In the meantime, I would like every Saturday at 10 o'clock, we will be doing these classes. So come prepared for a kind of a guided section of this talk. It will help you to fix your mind on this science of mantra yoga. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. What should I do at that point? Krishna Das. So, okay. The thank yous, yeah, it's okay. I didn't get it. Swamiji, do we always meditate upon the meaning as we do the mantra? Yes, Jill. You need to meditate on the meaning as well as the form of, because it's a complement. It is the two aspects of the same thing. You can mechanically repeat just that name without thinking of its meaning or the form, but you are using a lot of your time and energy in a very kind of limited way. Why don't you go ahead and using that same time and energy, do it correctly? That will help.
Krishna Das, I send a message before that.
What should I do at that point? Well, what should you do at that point? Keep on repeating. I've just got half of your message here. What's the whole thing?
So let me read the whole thing. I have been practicing japa yoga for at least 15 years. I have one doubt, Swamiji. As we go deeper on the mantra, means my listening of the inner mantra is so subtle. It has been Swamiji, what should I do at that point? I feel a kind of suffocation when my listening of a mantra is too subtle. Breath is almost going to stop. I feel suffocated. What should I do at that point?
Why should you feel suffocated? It's a remarkable development when you are repeating and the repetition has become subtle. you're hearing it in with your subtle sense of hearing, the breath automatically stops when one is concentrated, one is absorbed. You don't have to feel suffocated. Your body can remain with that low level of breathing. Absolutely don't feel suffocated. You are so used to breathing so deeply, but it is found that as we concentrate, our breath stops, our breath slows. Try to tell your mind, don't feel suffocated, it's all right. After you come out of that absorption, then you can take deep breaths, but you don't need so much of breathing when the mantra becomes subtle. There are certain animals, and you can say insects also, they breathe very slowly. Bears, when they go into hibernation, or the animals also, their breathing drops down very slowly. Yet they don't suffocate, they don't die, you don't have to worry, don't panic. Think of the subtle meaning of that mantra that arises. Don't think of the breathing.
Want me to read another question? Every time you give opinions.
No, nothing is coming up here.
Every time you give opinions of various names, like Jesus, or Buddha, or Krishna, you skip Allah, or Prophet. Is it a unintentional miss or a theological reason?
No, there is no teleological or no kind of bias here. There is one supreme deity, call it by other names. So if you want to say Allah, yes, you can go ahead and say Allah. You cannot take the name of the prophet, They will say peace be upon him. You got to say the prophet, the Paigambar, peace be upon him. But you can take the name of Allah. Allah has 100 names. Take any one of these names. There is no kind of bias here or anything like this. The name is the same as the meaning, like I said. Delve deep into it.
Next question. Maharaj, it has been a great journey, and now I am enjoying meditation. But listening to various lectures of Upanishads, the devotion becomes somewhat diluted. What to do?
Diluted? No, your devotion should not get diluted when you listen to all the Upanishads, because devotion is another form of knowledge. I hope you understand this. Knowledge and devotion are two, and that's why Sri Ramakrishna said Jnana Mishra Bhakti, knowledge mixed with devotion. It's always when you love something, you know that thing. When you know the thing more, you love that thing. So you may not have a kind of old attraction for temples or deities or this and that, but you will start loving that reality, the Atman. In fact, the Vedanta says, Swaswarupanusandhanam bhaktireva garita. In order to meditate or know the Atman, the bhakti is very effective. So to know the Atman is actually devotion. So don't worry. Remember, it should not dilute. Knowledge will not dilute your devotion. It should increase your devotion. Okay.
Another question. What kind of mala or rosary should we use?
When we'll come down to that particular aspect of this mantra yoga. So there are Rudraksha, get a genuine one, or a Tulsi, basil beads, or a Sphatika, the crystal. These are generally the three which are used. But depends on your personality. Now, if you have a Shakta or a Shaiva mantra, it's good to use, or a Vedanta mantra, it's good to use the Rudraksha. If you have a Vishnu mantra or Rama mantra, you can use a Tulsi. And Sphatika is kind of general. It's expensive, and so people, very few people can actually have that Sphatika mantra japa.
So Krishna Das, he's still concerned with this suffocation, and he goes, mantra is coming from the heart like subtle sensation. Breath is almost going to cut off. That time only I come out from mantra sadhana because of suffocation.
Why should you suffocate? That idea of suffocation inside with the mantra going on should not happen. So I would expect you to be sitting straight. Okay, sit down straight, sit down comfortably, and as you keep on doing, when you become subtle, your perception becomes subtle, your mantra has become subtle, what happens is you lose body consciousness. How can the two things go together? How can you have the consciousness of your body and your breath at the same time? You have a subtle perception of the mantra. At one point of time, the mantra becomes subtle when it has become detached from your breath. We'll take this up in one of our third or fourth class so you can get an idea why I'm trying to emphasize this. Body consciousness will be different from the mantra japa, subtle mantra japa. Okay, so you won't feel suffocated. And if you feel suffocated, then yes, you stop doing japa and you start breathing deeply and then again do it. Okay, but the two should not generally be together, suffocation as well as subtlety. Either is one of the two things.
How do we dwell upon complicated meanings such as the Mahamrityunjaya?
What's complicated meaning is just the meaning is saying, oh, please save me from death. Oh, Shiva, please save me from death. That's one of the reasons why we find that a mantra proper is nothing but a condensed prayer, a condensed long prayer. So you can dwell on its meaning in a very concise way instead of a long one. In that case, you will have to have that meaning constantly in your mind with every word that you use. They say, Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiya mamrita at. So you will have to visualize the meaning of those words as you keep on repeating that. So what is the meaning of that? Or you can just meditate, visualize the form of Shiva. Simple as that. Visualize Shiva and repeat this mantra, thinking of its meaning.
Another two more questions. I sometimes feel restlessness after Gayatri Japa because of bad thoughts coming. I try to control and my mind feels tired. Am I doing something wrong? Am I doing the wrong way?
Bad thoughts should not come. Only the thoughts of the mantra should be there during Gayatri. You have been mixing up the things. So do one thing. Just while doing japa, keep on doing just the japa and the meaning of it. It is true that japa will stir the contents of your mind. So avoid watching movies or reading stuff which evoke those kind of images and responses. Stop meeting such people who just talk about all the, you can say, the bad things. So your mind will slowly get nourished by the japa. So it's just like a food, If you eat bad food, your health goes down. If you eat nourishing food, your body is nourished. So that's it.
Two last questions. Mantra is given by your guru. Is it okay to repeat different mantras, or is it better to stick to one?
Oh no, you better stick to one mantra that your guru has given. We'll come down to this. The mantra has different levels. Though it appears one, it has various levels. Please remember that. Okay. So you give.
Swamiji, pranam. What if someone keeps on meditating and go into samadhi? I know the goal is samadhi, but it also feels scary. It feels that I will lose control and never come back from the meditation.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. It will take maybe decades of doing japa and then getting into samadhi. And once you get into samadhi, it's all bliss and bliss and bliss. It's tremendous bliss. You don't have to worry about all that kind of thing. I want you to concentrate on the repetition of the name correctly. Okay. So, when we come down to that, I'll tell you what exactly will happen. Okay.
Wait, sorry. Swamiji, is Bhagavate a sufficiently universalizable word that you can work for your any ideal?
Bhagavate is, the meaning of Bhagavate is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is, you can say, it's an English word now. It's like word God, the personal God. That's it. So I used it's in the sense of a generalized meaning. It's not a particular. Otherwise, say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Vishnu, or Om Namo Bhagavate Ram Krishnaya. So I'm not using those. So Bhagavate, you can take any. Use this mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, whatever you like. Keep on repeating it. So it's a generalized meaning of the Godhead. Okay, there's another Bhavani. It's okay to repeat different mantras, or it's better to stick to one. Like I said, it is important that you stick to just the mantra that a guru has given. Because like I said, these mantras which I will be repeating to you are generalized. But your guru has given you what is specific. So repeat that only. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.